everybody. Welcome back to TBH with Bianca.
And Hillary, sadly, once again, we don't have Tatiana yet. We're working on having her back here again. She's been really busy once again, and there's just a lot of stuff going on, which we're definitely going to talk about. And hopefully, soon she'll be able to join us too, as soon as she has more time on her schedule. But we want to talk about, first of all, the retreat, the spring retreat. Sadly, Bianca wasn't able to be there. Yes, it's really exciting. We want to start off with the newest stuff. And that was definitely, the retreat was definitely a ride, but in the most positive ways, honestly. It was definitely hard putting it all together, and I feel like Bianca is even going to be able to talk about that, even though she wasn't there physically. But in the actual terms of the activities we did, we had different stuff like catch the affirmation, we had rock painting, we had yoga sound healings, and we even had Tai Chi. So that was really exciting, and the being behind the scenes was just magical, seeing the kids being really excited about all of the stuff that we were trying to teach them in terms of mindfulness and how there's so many different perspectives as to how mindfulness works. And yeah, it was just so cool because all of the kids they were using up their spring break time in order to be there with us, So it was just really, really exciting to see that there's like a group of people out there that are willing to put some time and effort into becoming better versions of themselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, although I couldn't be there, my spring break didn't align with the days of the retreat, so I had to come back to Gainesville. But it was definitely a lot of fun to put it all together. I also feel like everything that we put out there, like you said, not everybody sees the behind the scenes and stuff. So there's a lot of work and preparation that goes into it, in which we use mindfulness as well. So the same mindfulness we teach everybody, just like when something doesn't go the right way or the way we want it, or something is late, or communication fails, or anything like that. There was moments in which we all had to sit down and lay things out because things were like all over the place. But the good thing is that we always found ways around it and ways to solve it and ways to overcome different obstacles that we encountered. So that's great. And I kind of think about that in terms of just like life itself. You're always going to be working with others, whether it is in school, with your family, with friends, or job, like whatever it is. So the best thing is just to all come together and lay things out if things are just not going the right way. Because that's what we want, right? A successful event. And I heard so much about it. I
Yeah,
saw
of
so
course.
many pictures. So you want to tell us, Hillary, kind of like what the event consisted of, like what kind of like, I know you mentioned rock painting. I saw a couple of videos on the TikTok of Joey and Sarah, and I thought it was so cute. So what was that exactly like? What did it consist of? How did people react? I want to know more about it.
Yes, of course. So we had a big bag of rocks and, of course, the paint. And what we asked them to do was, and I believe this was Maya's idea, actually, if I'm not mistaken, or Abimola's. And we were writing kind words that would represent us on the rocks. And so Joey ended up choosing a sign. I think it was the sign. So that was really interesting. That's why I had asked them, like, hey, would you mind telling us what this means? And I thought that Sarah's rock was obviously very beautiful and graceful, as she is. So it was definitely something that a lot of people wanted, they were excited to do, because it's like definitely different than, for example, the meditations that we put out every Monday. It was definitely more hands-on, and it involved some form of creativity. Like, I remember Marvin's rock. His rock was success, if I'm not mistaken, and it had so many different colors. It even had a pattern on it, which was really beautiful to see. I have pictures of it. You'll see. You guys will see it soon. I'll put them up like as time goes on, because there's a lot of content that you guys haven't seen yet about the retreat. But well, if you were there, you saw everything. But if you weren't, then you'll see it as time goes by. But the painting the rock was definitely something that we wished we would have had more time to continue making more than just one for each attendee. But that's what it consisted of. You're just like putting your creativity into a word that you feel like defines you. And so what I ended up putting on mine was light, and it was just like a very pink rock. There wasn't too much going on it. Not that creative in terms of like color, but I ended up choosing that one, and it was just it was more of a relaxing kind of thing than anything because we had just played the Catch the Affirmation sport and everyone was really tired. So we just wanted to like go on and start on a day on a like more relaxed state rather than keep on going with sports.
I think that the thing that I appreciate the most about like events like these and stuff like that, although I wasn't there, I do remember our retreat last year. I think it was like April or something like that. That was in school. It was
Mm-hmm.
just cool how like people that spend like each and every day with each other, like that are in classes together, that just see each other when they pass a hallway. There was a lot of students that also came to this retreat that I saw in the pictures that also know each other from school, maybe just from saying hello or just by name. And I feel like it's so cool how they just come together and like kind of like share their same interests and come together through mindfulness and stuff like that. I thought that was really awesome. Um, and something that we had discussed that I think it would be beneficial to a lot of people is that since we plan on having a retreat over the summer, a retreat over fall, and then a retreat for like spring break or something like that, have like different agendas, right? Because like you don't want to come again and do like the same thing all over again every single time. We want to teach different skills, and of course, like you said, like you wish we had more time and stuff like that. So maybe focusing more on events, I feel like that's really helpful, and that also helps us like schedule and organize and stuff like that, like not repeat things. I feel like it also becomes like a life thing where we don't want to like do the same thing every single day and like switch up the routine and like organize and make sure we get
Yes.
everything done. So I feel like that's kind of what we're doing
Mm-hmm.
here, just like in a more controlled environment. Um, but I want to hear about other events. What else did y'all do? I know there was something about mindful movements, kind of like yoga.
Yeah, it was very similar to yoga. It was actually, we had two separate events that were like dedicated to mindful movement or slash yoga. The first event that we did in terms of mindful movement was led by Sarah, to like the girl with the race rock. And it was really fun. She had never actually done that before, and she was really good. A lot of people really enjoyed it, and even our youngest attendee, he was like, "Wow, this was so much fun because we're not going too slow. It felt more like a sport kind of thing where you were like feeling your muscles be moved, so you're feeling like you're stretching." That's how Sarah made it. And then there was Sensei Mike that came over, who was invited by Ben, and that was more yoga-ish, less mindfulness movement. It was more dedicated to yoga and sound healing. So that was definitely something that was completely different, much more relaxing, not so harsh on the muscles. And there's a couple of attendees. I'm not gonna say who, but a couple of them fell asleep on my Sensei Mike's yoga and sound healing activity. So it was really nice to see that people were being so relaxed to the point that sometimes you're going to fall asleep. And like you say, that's the kind of stuff that happens in a mindfulness retreat, to be honest, which is something that we tend to talk about because we don't know these people. A lot of the attendees, they don't really know each other to the point where they would be like, "Hey, I'm comfortable with sleeping close to you." You know what I mean? Or I'm comfortable with going to a yoga session with you. But like you say, it's beautiful that we all are able to come together, do mindful movements together, and be feel safe that we're not going to be judged, and also in some cases fall asleep when sound healing is happening because you're so relaxed and you just feel so at home in some way, even though you're just getting to know these people to a different level. So it was definitely beautiful. That was probably one of the most beautiful things that I was able to see. I wasn't able to participate in sound healing because I was taking pictures and whatnot, but just seeing them like being in such a different state. Um, Even some people were able to say that they felt like they were floating, right? So it's it's really interesting. Just like some people fall asleep, other ones feel like so relaxed to the point where they're they feel like they're floating. But yeah, it was just beautiful, like outside and inside, just to see that happening.
Do you remember for about like how long each sound healing and the mindful movements and the yoga activities were? Like, do you think people had enough time to relax? Because you don't want to like fully relax and you're falling asleep and they're like, all right, up. So like, oh, okay. Like I was gonna
Yes, no. So for the mindful movements that Sarah led, it wasn't that long. It was about like an hour, but like I said, it was a straining on the muscles. Like she did a really good job in terms of like getting us stretched up and ready up for the day. Because that was one of the first activities for the first day. So it was something that is like, all right, let's shake everything, like tense up. It took like about an hour, and it was a really good session in terms of time. It didn't feel like it was too stretched up or too long or too short. It was a good timing. As for yoga and sound healing led by Sensei Mike, the yoga was more stretched. So it took about like an hour and 30 minutes. We took longer times being in different positions in comparison to Sarah's mindful movements. But I feel like that was definitely the way to go in that sense, because the movements weren't too straining on the muscles, and it was very lenient to the point where it's like, okay, maybe I can try to relax in this position, even if it's not like the kind of position that I'm usually in, just like on a day-to-day basis. And as for the sound healing, it was long enough for people to feel very relaxed. And I mean, I'm just guessing that some people, they were just really tired from like the day before, because we were playing sports the day before. So some people just fell asleep. But I think it was a really good timing. Like Sensei Mike took about, like I said, an hour and a half. So I don't really think there was like an issue with timing or anything along the lines of that. I feel like we definitely worked a good way in terms of timing. It was just something that they were completely different things. And gladly they were in different days, because imagine we had like the yoga and sound healing session right after Sarah's mindful movements. That would have been, everyone would have fallen asleep, because like we just had a good stretch, and now we had sound healing. We're all gonna fall asleep, right? So it was definitely something that it was good to have them on different days, definitely. So yeah, that's
To
good.
be honest, those are one of my favorite activities. I remember at the last retreat that we did back when we were in high school. So, what was it? April of like 2022. It was really fun. Miss Thomas did yoga instruction at Fort Lauderdale High School, and that was really cool. But what I loved most is, remember the after school activities, like the club meetings that we would have, and Mr. Katz would lead the sound
Oh
healing. We would
yes.
all fall asleep. Like we would just of course sit there and like just start listening. And I remember my brain was just so full of like stuff, like homework that I had to do, or having to drive home. We both lived 30 minutes so away from the school. So it was just like having to drive home and having to do homework and having to worry about dinner or something like that. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And then I would simply just like fall asleep, and then I would get up and everybody was sleeping. So those were like some of my favorite activities, and I definitely miss out on it. I would love to do it, but for sure next retreat, I'm very excited for it. We kind of already started looking at the agenda, so that is so fun. But aside from the retreat, how are you like checking in, like life, school, going home?
Yes, so I actually did go home for the spring break. I wasn't expecting to go home necessarily. I was hoping to, because my initial plan was staying in Tallahassee, but I wasn't able to. I had found out a little too late that dorms were closing, and I was like, oh no. So what I ended up doing was, I'm just gonna book a flight and go home. And then I did. I mean, there wasn't really much going on there. I spent like 6 days at home, and I only went out once to Walgreens for 1 hour. That's it. Didn't do anything else. Just like stayed home with my parents, my brother. They were like working and like doing school and whatnot, because our schedules weren't the same. It was like a week. So I just stayed home, like tried to rest and catch up on TV shows and whatnot. I was doing a completely different thing than usual. Um, but it was, I mean, I would say it was really nice. And then we had the retreat, so I stayed outside of Tallahassee for a couple of days more. I actually even missed school to go to the retreat, so that was definitely a decision. It was something that I really wanted to do, so I did it. You know, I'm not sure whether I'm gonna be able to attend the next retreat, but I'll definitely be behind the scenes. So that is something that it's been happening. And then after I came back, the registration for classes opened up for the fall, and I was like, oh no, we were just talking about this like a month ago. And I was like, okay. Of course, I didn't get all the classes that I wanted because that's usually how it goes. But I'm trying to make it work, and there's not really much to it. I mean, at this point, like it's the second time that I'm going through it, or like the third time, so I'm not really stressed about it anymore. Like I already kind of know what to expect and what to not expect. And if anything, you can always figure it out along the way. So as long as you stay in the present, because why should I care so much about maybe a class that I wasn't able to get? Well, I could take it next time. I'm just gonna worry about my classes right now and to do the stuff that I have to do, and then I'll figure it out along the way. Yeah. What about you?
I did go home for spring break. That was my plan all along. I haven't like gotten to go home. Like I went home for like a conference that I had down in like the Keys, but it was like for like a day or two. So I was like, oh, I didn't really get much time to spend with my family. So I went back home for break. I stayed there for the whole week. And to be honest, I didn't even feel like doing anything. Like I missed the beach, but I didn't even feel like going and driving and getting ready. Like I just wanted to relax at home. And like just like you said, my parents also have their own schedules. They work, my mom works too, and my sister goes to school. Since our spring breaks don't align, everybody was there, but it just felt so nice to relax at home and not have like something to do and like go, 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 go. As always, it's just
Yeah.
like I would just much I would like yes, I love getting in a bathing suit and tanning and getting some sun and relaxing, but I just did that at home. I stayed in the pool and I just relaxed there. So like when my parents go home, I was already there and we had the chance to spend some time together. I went to the beach one day with some friends. I went to Hollywood Beach because Fort Lauderdale Beach was extremely packed and I just didn't want to deal with that
Oh
now.
yeah.
I guess a lot of people like it, the social aspect and stuff, but I was just so tired and so overwhelmed. And it was so far, the traffic, the parking, I was just like, oh, I'm just going to go closer and where I can actually relax and I can close my eyes and just sit there rather than having to go, 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 go. So I was definitely mindful about that. Definitely caught up on some TV shows. I actually finished a show that I had started watching. So definitely that was cool. I had a plan to start reading a book that I need for school since I have to write a paper on it, actually due in 2 weeks from now. Um, I didn't do that. I started
Oh.
this week. I don't want to do anything, to be honest. Nothing at all. I spent time with my sister. We played some games. We played Monopoly. I hadn't played Monopoly since COVID, since like the
Oh
pandemic and
wow.
stuff. So I got to do that again with my family, kind of like, oh, we used to do that when we were locked up and had nothing to do. So it was really fun. And yeah, just relaxing. I like some days I was in my PJs all day long and it felt great. Um, Definitely felt awesome to eat homemade food. I miss it a lot. I feel like that should be a part of mindfulness because it was, oh my
Oh
goodness,
yes.
like barbecue, like Argentinian barbecue and Argentinian empanadas and
Wow.
like so many things that I had missed, rather than being on the meal plan and the dining hall every day here in college.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, in terms
Yeah,
of
no,
classes,
definitely.
I have my registration next week. So it falls like the time it opens is when I'm in class. So I'm sure everybody's going to be doing the same thing. So because everybody has a very similar registration time and date as I do. Um, so yeah, I'm very nervous getting classes and stuff like that. I know it's tough and they leave for upperclassmen or stuff like that, especially since I'm double majoring. One of my majors is not yet declared. So it's really hard to get those classes because they save them for the major itself. So Definitely very
Yeah.
nervous about that. I want just next week to be over, or like at least registration day to be over, so I can just like and relax. But excited for summer. Excited since I'll be here as an orientation leader, as we call it, preview staffer. So just excited to meet new people, help new students. Because when I came here, I was totally lost. I was like, what do you mean there's like 20,000 classes to take? What do you mean classes have letters and numbers? So
Oh
it was
my God.
definitely just like, um, like what's ENC 1101? Why isn't just English? Like, so it was a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, so definitely excited to help out and just be here summer, meet new people, new connections and stuff like that.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yes, I also applied to be an orientation leader for this summer, like last semester. I think it was that all of it happened. I didn't end up taking it because I decided I wanted to go home for the summer. So hopefully next year. I also thought the same way. Like when was doing my orientation, I felt oriented, but not oriented enough. So I was like, okay, I would like to see what the behind the scenes is, and gladly, I mean, I've seen a lot of great people become orientation leaders. It's not easy to become an orientation leader in any school, so I have realized it is a lot of work. And I look the application and just like the whole thing about getting accepted and whatnot. If that was a lot already on its own, I cannot even begin to imagine how much it is to actually be on the team now. So but yes, it is definitely a beautiful thing, and I'm really excited for you to do that. I hope to hear
Thank
from it
you.
soon.
Actually, really quick before we wrap
And
up,
mhm.
I had this conference. We went to Florida A&M, and it was a
Uh-huh.
conference with like students from all over, no, not all over the US. It's region 6. I don't know what that entails. I don't remember, but it's a couple different states. I remember a lot of kids from Louisiana, a lot of kids from Tennessee.
Oh,
And yeah, but Florida State was there. And like when we got
yeah.
there, it's like the just like the tension and whatever. So we went and we all started dancing together, and we had like these gator hats, and they put them on, and we grabbed their flag and started waving their flag. And then they were doing the chomp and we were doing their thing. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to get together and just like, I saw, oh my God, I actually saw somebody from back from high school. Um, I forgot his name.
Oh,
That's awful. But yeah, I saw him from high school, and so it was just so cool seeing people that I knew and just, like coming
oh,
all
that's so
together.
sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too happening. On the other side, of course, like I was seeing all of my orientation leader friends posting videos with y'all. So definitely the tension is real, but at the end of the day, it's amicable tension. It's not like, wow, we actually, want to like sabotage each other. No, it's just like, oh, Gators, but like not really. It's
It
just,
was fun.
we're just all amicable.
They were learning our chants and we were learning their chants. So it was really fun. They even came and they were like, "Can you guys please sing this?" Like, and we'll sing the other one. Like it was really, really fun. Um,
Oh, that's so sweet.
yeah. But I would like to thank everybody for coming and sitting in with us today and just listening. Hopefully by next time we are all like settled in and done with exams and done with registration and done with all of that that we've been talking about for so long.
No, seriously. And you're gonna breathe through it because it's not easy having a lot of stuff to do and then more stuff. It never ends. The list never ends. So you just gotta try to ground yourself and, well, just know that you're not alone and we're always here if anything, and all of the resources are available to you. And if you ever want more, you already know where to find us and you can reach out.
Yeah, of course. Make sure you keep an eye out for more pictures and information about this past retreat as well as the retreat for fall. For this upcoming fall, we're really, really excited and started to plan it, and we're gonna do it ahead of time so we give everybody a chance to look into it and stuff and send it to your friends and all that. So keep an eye out on social media and also for more information, podcasts, meditations and all of that, and different tools and resources. Make sure you visit mindFULLme, that's mindful with 2ls.org. And there you can also let us know your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, or anything of that sort. So see y'all next month.
Thank you. See you next month.